Hey everybody, this is Matt Weber with Cross Grain Cabinets and Remodeling. I started this YouTube channel so I can show some tips and techniques within my industry. So there won't be any flashy text or sound effects. We're going to get straight to business. So let's go. Now the first thing you'll notice in front of this garage door behind me is a set of pallet racks, which I keep all my plywood on for building the cabinets. Now, I'm between projects right now, so I thought this would be a great time to show you exactly why I've had this placed here. The plywood will come in, they'll set it here generally right in the shop. I'll have it delivered and I will move it onto the racking. And from there, I will take it to my table saw to break it down. And then from the larger 12-inch saw that we just saw, where I break down all the backs, sides, bottoms, and tops from larger sheets, moves over here to the 10-inch saw. I've got a dedicated dado stack on this where all the rabbets, the grooves, the dados, and so on happen over here. I keep this solely set up just for that task. It works out a lot quicker rather than changing blades back and forth on the larger saw. And yes, I'm sure some of you are asking, where's your CNC? And then I don't have one. I don't utilize it, obviously, with the two table saws. This works out great for me. I have a really good system. And while yes, right here is a great spot where a CNC could be, I do park my van in here. So parking space is a bit more important to me right now than having the CNC, but not to say that in the future that could be a possibility. Now, once all the parts are dadoed and rabbited over on the table saw, I bring everything over on carts to my assembly table where I will start assembly. And the nice thing about this, it is an adjustable height. It's pneumatic control. There's an airbag underneath. This thing is made by Motolift. It is designed for dirt bikes and motorcycles and a mechanic shop for them to be worked on. But I found out that this is incredibly helpful for assembling smaller cabinets where you may want to raise it up, or taller ones where we can drop this down a little bit lower so everything is at a comfortable working height. And the top of this workbench assembly table is a white melamine. It's great for scraping the glue off of if you glue up things, but also a nice flat surface for assembly. And underneath of it is some 1-inch rigid foam. I have that glued on there. I will flip this tabletop over to this other side and I can break down parts like plywood, wider boards if I need to rip a straight edge on something with the track saw. So without having to damage this, I'm simply cutting into the rigid foam on the other side. This is a Castle pocket hole machine. Some of the carcasses will get a pocket hole drilled on the outside of it or the inside, depending if there's a drawer or not. Over here, I have my multi-spindle boring machine for adjustable shelf pins. If you look closely, these are lined up on the fences of both machines. So alternatively, if you are drilling on the outside of the box, if it's hidden, if it is to a wall or to another cabinet, slide it down to this, and your finished side is already up. And we can go ahead and drill the holes for the adjustable shelves. And this setup works really nice, it's really quick, and with everything in line, we don't have to worry about things getting in the way. And then all the cabinets back here behind the work area, staplers, brad nailers, finish nailers, hand tools, sandpaper, screws of different lengths and diameters, extra parts such as drawer slides, hinges, base plates, all of these things kept away and dust-free basically by keeping them back here in the cabinets. And then when it comes time to face frames with the hardwoods, I will bring my lumber in off the racks. We can go directly to the joiner. Let's get a straight edge on it. And if we need thickness planed, over to the planer, and then right back over here to the table saw to rip everything for width. And then we have a drum sander back here. It's a 38-inch, and all the face frames and door parts get ran through here. Also, by the way, this is a 20-inch planer. It does seem to work good for all my needs, and this is an 8-inch joiner. Both of these have the helical head, which I much rather have over the 3-bladed knife head. And then a couple of the lesser used machines like the edge sander here. I'll clean up door edges with it and some other random uses for it, but it is not widely used. And then of course the bandsaw. Of course, here at the end of the line is the 5-horse dust collector, which has a 10-inch pipe off of it, which comes down to the exterior wall. At a third of the way down, it drops down to 9-inch in diameter. The last third is down to an 8-inch diameter. All these machines are hooked to it off of Ys and blast gates to shut things down when we're not using it, to give a little bit better suction to the tools that are using them at the current time. And then once all the hardwood face frames and door parts, etc., are cut to width and they are planed for thickness, they come over here to the miter saw. Everything gets cut to length. We have 12 feet of table extension on each side, but I can cut 16-foot length stuff down to size on the setup that I have. And of course, all the extra tools and toolboxes under here tucked away, out of the way, ready for use. And then once the face frame materials are cut to length at the miter saw, I bring them over here to this assembly table. I do have a track that's set down flush with the work surface that I can slide these clamps back and forth, clamp things in place, and also a lot of sanding is done on this table too. And back here in the corner of the shop, this is where I store the cabinetizer cabinet lift, which I set cabinets on. If they're too heavy, I set everything by myself, so this thing essentially has a crank on it and it will lift it up, hold it on the wall for you while you screw it to the wall, and a drill press, which mainly I just use to drill out the cups on the doors for the hinges, and then an extra router table. This dust collector has a hose which stretches over to the smaller dado stack table saw. Let's take a walk into the finishing room. So entering the spray room, I've got 8-foot doors, French doors, so everything's easily rolls through, easy to get in and out. And if you notice, I've got these returns cut in for filtering the air that is drawn into the room once the exhaust fans are on. That way I have conditioned air coming in and it is filtered, all the dust filtered from out in the workshop. Up here in the front corner, I've got storage cabinets for leftover paint from other jobs or paint for upcoming jobs. All my mixing is done right here. I do have an HVLP sprayer on the other side of the wall. The hose for it is hanging up if I ever need that. Otherwise, majority, 95% of my spraying is done with an airless sprayer. And then I've got these cheap white closet or pantry hanging shelves here that I can put at different heights and different widths, but after I spray some trim, whether it be a couple foot long or up to 16-foot stuff, I'll put that all on these racks and they make a good spot for drying. And then these are the drying racks I use. Typically it's just for doors. Each one holds 50 panels. Sometimes I use them both, sometimes just one. But I really like these for moving them in and out of the shop for when I need to sand them after primer's done. And then I do have a couple exhaust fans with louvers on the outside. These are going directly through the exterior wall. They do 900 CFM a piece, and they are 3-speed adjustable, or shut one down, one off. But anyway, the switch is on the outside of the room when you enter. Everyone, thanks for sticking with me through my first YouTube video. I plan on making some more, so leave a comment below on what you want to see next. And if you hated this video, like it anyway.